Welcome to Liberia House. My name is Rachel Goldberg. I'm the programs coordinator for the Manassas Museum, and I'm going to show you a few things around Liberia House today to sort of get your adventure juices flowing so that you can come explore Liberia on your own. Right now, that interior of the house is still closed, but you're welcome to come explore these beautiful 18 acres on your own. So just to give you a few things to chew on when you come visit the house, we're standing here on the front porch of Liberia House. The porch that you see when you pull up to the museum off of Portner Avenue is actually the back porch of the house. This front porch was recreated back to the house's 1862 glory, and it looks identical to the porch that was on the house in a picture that we have of Liberia in 1862. So you can come, you can walk up on the porch, you can look around, you can look out at the carriage circle that approaches the house and imagine what it would have been like to sit on the front porch and receive visitors, to see guests coming down the drive, and look out at what the land looked like. In 1862, it probably looked very different than it looks today, but we have done some efforts to take the house back to what it looked like in 1862. So something to be mindful of when you come to the house is the front of the house uses the best bricks. So the house was built in 1825 with enslaved labor, and we are so grateful to those enslaved laborers for their skilled craftsmanship, because the house without that skill would not be still standing today. Also, we'd like to acknowledge the Naylor family, who was the enslaved family who were left behind during the Civil War to keep the house. And so because of the Naylor family, because of the enslaved craftsmen, the house was one of the few houses still standing after the Civil War. So when you come up to the house and you look at these beautiful bricks, you can notice that the bricks on the front of the house are the highest quality, best, most uniformly fired bricks that are on the house. And as you go around the sides of the house and to the back of the house, you'll see more what we call clinkers, the less attractive, darker bricks. You'll see the different colors of bricks and the different types of bricks. So one thing to keep an eye on when you're here is the bricks. You can enjoy the front porch, look out at the carriage circle, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go check out the cemetery around the corner. When you come visit Liberia, you're welcome to bring a picnic and spread out on the lawn and enjoy a beautiful day like today. You can also explore our short hiking trail that goes back into the woods. You can look for the dairy house or the spring house that was built over the little creek that runs back there. It would have been used kind of like a Civil War refrigerator. So you can look out for that. You can look for flora and fauna, see what you can find. You can let us know on Facebook what you were able to identify while you were out here. This short trail goes partly in and then back out. We're in the process still of lengthening those trails and hopefully at some point creating a trail around the entire property. So stay tuned for more construction information. So here we are at the family cemetery at Liberia. One of the very interesting things about this cemetery is that it wasn't always here. It was originally located in one of the adjacent housing developments, and in the 1980s it was moved to be closer to the house here on city property. So when you come, you can take a look around. There are still a number of headstones that are still pretty legible. So take a peek in and see what you can learn about the Ware family just from reading the headstones. Can you find someone who was a war veteran? Can you find a spouse? Can you find a wife? Can you find children? See who else you can find and what else you can learn from the cemetery here. So here we are on the side of the house, and if you look around all over the house, look for little cues that maybe the house used to be different in some way. Here on the side of the house, we know because we have architecture, or in the bricks, you can still see scars left behind from the architecture that used to be here. We aren't certain what happened to that kitchen wing, but we do know that it used to be here. So you can look at that and imagine that this was a space where the enslaved cooks would come and spend most of their time. They would be up early in the morning, well before anyone else, starting to cook breakfast and prep other meals for the day. They would have supper and dinner ready. They would be serving other things throughout the day. So this was a very busy part of the house, a very important part of the house that no longer exists. And here we are on the back porch. And the back porch is a little, we took some creative license. We aren't certain, we don't have any pictures of the back of the house, so we weren't certain what the back porch would have looked like. So we created a back porch that serves our purposes. We've got some stairs, we have an accessible wheelchair elevator, so our programs inside the house can be easily accessed. The porch is sturdy, it's well shaded. You can come sit in our rocking chairs and enjoy a rock and enjoy the view. You can see the cemetery behind me. And when you're up here on the porch, take a notice of the brickwork like we were talking about on the front porch. You can tell, well, use your detective eyes to notice how the bricks on the back of the house are different from the bricks on the front of the house. You can see that they're less uniform, they're less uniform in color, less uniform in size, and that they're a slightly different quality. You can also see, we talked on the side of the house about some of the architectural scars on the house. So you can see some of those as well and imagine the different iterations of this back porch since it was built in 1825, what it may have looked like over the years since 1825. Another interesting thing to look for in the bricks here is the Ware family had their initials made out of bricks on one of the sides of the house. See if you can find that somewhere as well. So that about wraps up. Oh, no, it doesn't. There's one other fun surprise for you to find when you come to Liberia. We are in the process of installing a new garden here. The garden will be similar to a garden that would have been here in the 1860s. It will be planted with entirely Virginia indigenous plants. Back at the height of the house, there would have been an ornamental garden and a kitchen garden. Our garden here is going to be entirely ornamental. And you can see when you come up on the back porch, outlined in bricks are the two large rectangles where we will have our beautiful plants. So you can come out and watch the progress of that garden being created. Thank you for joining me for this short tour of Liberia House. I hope you come out, enjoy the weather, enjoy the lawn, enjoy the grounds, and we hope to be inviting you back to programs here at Liberia very soon.